Hey, welcome to 12-Tone Building Blocks, our monthly series about the fundamentals of music. We've talked a lot about notes and how they interact, but today I'd like to start looking at how they're used. In practice, most songs don't really use all 12 notes. You can if you want to, but it tends to sound chaotic and weird. We need some sort of organization, and the way we do that is through what we call scales. A scale or key is basically a collection of notes that we get to choose from while we're writing. It limits our options a bit, and that helps provide a sense of structure. Instead of using 12 notes, you might be working with 5 or 7, and the intervals between those notes gives you some sort of framework to build off of. This can be a little tricky to wrap your head around at first, so let's look at some examples. Probably the most important scale out there is what's called the major scale. This is pretty simple. If you've seen our intervals video, you know that major is a term we apply to those too, so to build a major scale, we pick a starting note, like this E, then we include every note that's a major interval above that root. We've got the major second F sharp, the major third G sharp, the major sixth C sharp, and the major seventh D sharp. And to fill in that big gap in the middle, we'll add in the perfect fourth A and the perfect fifth B. That gives us a complete major scale built on E, which we call E major for obvious reasons. Another incredibly common one is the minor scale, and if you've been paying attention, you may already have some idea how that works. We pick a starting note, let's try G this time, and we include everything that's a minor or perfect interval above it, right? Well, that's close, but for various reasons we still use a major second, in this case A. The minor second is just too gross. Anyway, if we fill in the rest of that quickly, we get G minor. Now, it's important to note that octaves don't matter here. It's not just this B flat that's in G minor. Every B flat is. If you're playing in G minor, you can use any B flat you want, but you can't use A flat because that's not in the scale. But these do more than just tell us what notes we can play, they also tell us how to use them. Different notes in a scale have different functions based mostly on their relationship with the root. For instance, A major has almost all the same notes as E major, but those notes feel different depending on which one we're using. Compare this to this. Some notes, like the fourth or fifth degrees, are crucial to defining tonality and establishing the key, while others, like the third or sixth, are there to provide what's called modality or color, giving each scale its own unique identity. Scales are one of the deepest, richest areas of music theory, and there's always more waiting to be discovered. We've talked about a lot of them here on 12-Tone, but believe me, we've only scratched the surface. Anyway, thanks for watching. Building Blocks was made possible thanks to our patrons on Patreon, so if you want to see more stuff like this, please consider supporting. You can also join our mailing list for scans of all our episodes. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and keep on rockin'.